Hey there, folks. I'm Joe Crawford of artloan.com. Pretty much every day I go to CSSBattle.dev and do the daily target. Let's do that now. All right. Oh, ho, ho. What do we got? That's some fun shapes there, huh? That is some fun shapes. All right. How do we make this shape? I think it's three. Well, let's see. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch. I'm gonna see as much as I can do without any elements. So the first thing I want to do is do what? A radial gradient. 1Q, 1Q. This color, probably it's 15 pixels or something, and then transparent. No, it's probably more like 25 or even 30. Okay, now that I've got that, let's move it up. And I'll move it at to be at 50%. Minus 10 pixels. No, 10. There we go. How about 50, 60, 70? Oh, I gotta make that paragraph tag not exist. All right, 100, 110. Okay, so now that I've got that, I'm gonna put it at 50%, 50% background position, set it to 100 pixels wide, and see if we've got it. So that's almost lining up correctly. This wants to be transparent, obviously. I'm going to put this that color in the background. Okay, so we're narrowing in. I think this has to be like 90, 90, or is it 110 or 105? How about 95? 95 is correct. Okay, so now we have that. uh, those are in the right place. So that should be the lowest level probably. And if that's the lowest level, then we want, what do we want? Then what we want is this to be the that to be there as well. So then what do we need to put on top of it? Well, I think what we want is, well, a linear gradient. I think that's coming in at 90 degrees and is going to repeat in this interesting way. All right. And it's going to be 10 pixels over. Okay. A lot of moving parts here. I'm not really doing a good job describing what I'm thinking. And I also am missing a comma. So this is the thing I'm trying to make. So the first thing I want to have that start a little further over 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 25 pixels over. And then that's 20. That is not wide enough. So 25, no, 30. And then that 30 should be 40, maybe 50. And then transparent. And then that number is like 200 pixels, and then it's going to repeat. So, okay. And then we need another stripe of this color. So 2, what, 3, 2, 8. There it is, 2, 9, 300. And that's almost right, but it's not quite right, is it? Because there's something like the repeat on this is just not very, uh, it's a little bit the wrong thing, but I'm making it work. We need another stripe of blue. Okay, that's what I got going now. Is it good? No, not really. 320, there it is. 330, 40. And then I guess I want this 400 pixels, 380. Oh no, 320, 30, 40, 50. There we go. Okay, so I think I've got what I was intending. Is it good? No, and that's a lot of work for those stripes. So the width is like 360 pixels. No, 370 pixels. Yes, or is it? No, it's not. 380 pixels. 380 pixels. And then the height is like 70%. And then we do a repeat only on the x-axis, and then we get what we want there. All right, so we're too tall. So was that 60, 59, 69%, 68, 67, 66, 5? Yeah, that's code smell. How about 200 pixels? There we go. And then the last thing, so that's a lot of work for that linear gradient. Not super excited about that. Let's do a conic gradient to top it all off. The conic gradient is transparent, 75%, and it's got an at value of like at 200 pixels, 40 pixels, something like that. And then this dark color. And then we move it using background position, 30 pixels over, 50 pixels down or something. So it's actually 50 pixels. No, 50, 60, 70, 80 pixels over. No, 75, I think is correct. And so our app value needs to be a little bigger to 20, 30, 40, 50, and then down to 50, 60. Ooh, there's a weird edge there that I don't like. Let's submit and see if we're at 100%. I don't like these colors. Like, that's not great. Not a big fan of that. It's 100% match, but it's just not great in terms of the efficiency of what we're trying to do. So what do we want to do differently? What can we do differently? So what do we make? How few? Uh, how little can we do? So let's steal our conic gradient. So the conic gradient, I think, is the only actually good part of this. All right, we'll put that on the body on this. Oh, not the conic gradient. That's not what I meant. I meant the radial gradient. Boom. That's what I want. Okay. Blank template. I'm going to put that on that. And I'm going to remove this at. Great. And I'm going to do, so what do I do next? I'm going to set the background to be here. Clump. And I'm going to do color of that. So why did I do that? Because what I want to do is some different stuff. All right, so and one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do that. So I want to push this down. I want to push this down to 40, 40, yeah, 50, and then the shape, I want it to be how tall do I, so let's do border. How do I want to do this? Border inline, 20 pixels solid, that color. So you can't quite see that. And what's more, okay, let's make it taller. 200. Yeah, great. And then I want to, so this is currently in the center, and what I want to do is move it vertically. Perfect. I made that. And then let's do box shadow. 10 pixel, 20 pixels, 0. Boom. That's what I'm getting at there. 30 pixels. And then, so that's a minus 30 pixels, 0. That's all that. Great. And I'm going to let this background go back to where it was. And then I can do a conic gradient, but I think I can do an inset. Can I do an inset? Ooh, no, I don't think I can. I can do multiple inset box shadows and have this work. Inset 0, 30 pixels, 0. Yeah, actually, that works. 30, 40, 50, 60. That's so when I set the color, that's so I wouldn't have to put colors on that. So let's submit that. This is a little more efficient. Not a lot more efficient, but somewhat more efficient. So we've got several different things going on here, right? There's our shape, and these are these parts of this. So I'll just short circuit that by doing that. So there's our box. That's 3 box shadows. One is inset, and those are on the sides. And then we don't need to worry too much because we have the correct width on this background pattern and it doesn't cross over on the repeat. We don't have to worry about adding this little stripe of light color. So I like that one. I like that a lot. Let's minify and unit replace, and that's probably, I want to say it's a better score, but I guess we don't know until we know. So let's check it out. And I would say that further, if we do this, so let's steal all of that code for the body. Oh, and actually, so if we, okay, so I'm going to comment out all of that. And I want to repurpose it to go with the nested template, which is using the HTML element and the body element to do this. So, okay, so what I want to do is steal out the body margins and put those on this. Okay. Oh, and pasted badly. There we go. And then remove this back. So this background yellow is no good. Great. Let's adjust these numbers. 0, 50, 50, 50, 60, 70, 22, 67. Okay. Then this number needs to be what, 45, 47, 42, 42. Great. Now I'm going to steal out the rest of these. So there's the styling that I want. Close. Not quite. Close. I believe I need to set the color. And I believe I need to set this border in line. Okay, so that's kind of the right thing, but I think the borders are, the margins are not serving us correctly here. What do we need to do? So this number here needs to be less. There it is. So we repurposed our solution with a paragraph tag and applied those instead of to body and P, we did it to HTML and body nested. And so this is the nested syntax. So So let's, did we submit? I can't remember if we submitted. So let's minify and unit replace. And that is a way we do this. That's 15 minutes worth. Yesterday was 30 something minutes and too long by half. But it was a fun attempt to do all conic gradients all the time on a very difficult solution. And this is the best score that we've gotten. So that's a win. We'll take it. Thanks for watching. Hope you're doing well out there. It has certainly been a difficult, weird, terrible time in a lot of ways, but we will carry on. Go make a webpage. Be good to yourself. Be good to each other. See you again later. Bye.